What's up guys, Mustang Doctor, and I'm just going to show you guys tonight how to test your E85 fuel. So if you guys are running E85, so not 91, not 87, not 93, but E85 fuel, so ethanol fuel, you're going to want to test it. And so to do that, you're going to want to get an ethanol test kit. You can run inline ethanol sensors to an app on your phone, and there's a whole host of other ways to do this, but if you want to do it the cheap way and run a dedicated E85 tune, this is what you're going to have to do. Check it out, guys. So what I have here is a RevX E85 tester kit. I think I got this on Amazon, guys. It wasn't very expensive, so just look this up. It's called ethanol or E85 tester, as you guys can see. And all you need to do is fill it up to the water fill line with water. So I like to put that on a level surface just to make sure I'm solid on my water line there. You're gonna fill it up there with just regular tap water, and then you're gonna fill the rest of this up with your E85 fuel that you got at the gas station. And you just want to fill it right to that line. And then from there, put the lid back on and shake this up like crazy. And then you're going to want to let it settle. And we're going to show you guys that here in a second. Okay guys, so set you down here. I'm going to pull my nozzle out of the gas tank, and I'm just going to take it. And I know I've got some in the line here still. So I'm just going to fill this right up to the gasoline fill line, as I mentioned to you guys. I may have to turn this back on. Hope not, because it sprays out like crazy. Doesn't look like it. This is perfect. So I'm just filling it right up to the gasoline fill line. And I want to be really careful not to go over that because there's only a little bit of room in here. And you want to have enough room to shake it up. So try to get a little bit more in here. This isn't quite level. A little lopsided. Let's take it over to the bench guys, and check it out just to make sure. I'm really scientific about this, so some of you guys might not be quite this specific, but really want to make sure it's right. So you can see that kind of settling out. Okay guys, so now we're right on the gasoline fill line, as you guys can see there. So we've got our water fill line, our gasoline fill line, or I should say our E85 fill line. Now I'm just going to shake this up like crazy, real good. And when I'm done shaking it up, I'm just gonna let it settle here. It's gonna look like that right away, and then it's gonna settle out, and you're gonna see a difference between the water and the gas, or in the ethanol, and you're gonna see this break out here in a minute. I'll show you guys. Okay guys, so now that this is settled out, we're gonna give it a little bit more time, come back out and check it one more time before we update the tune. But as you guys can see, we're sitting right on E80, blend of E80, which I'm really not surprised by this. I was really hoping for at least E85. The station that I get this from is quite a ways away, and they usually run E90 throughout the summer, but we're just coming into the summer again, and in the winter, these gas stations will run a winter blend of ethanol, or E85, I guess you could say, which is really usually more like an E70 blend, E75 maybe at the most. Some places even run an E65 blend. And the reason why they do that is because the ethanol content is really hard to start when it's cold. And so a blend of more 93 mixed with E85 to get it more to a E65 or an E75 blend, which is 75% ethanol, the car is going to start a lot better in the winter and run a little bit smoother. So they'll run with a winter blend, which is a lower ethanol content in the winter. And so we're just coming into the spring, summer here, and so my guess is the tanks are just still running a mixture of that winter blend slash probably some of the summer blend that's already in the underground tanks at this gas station. So not really surprised. I'm not disappointed, but I'm not super thrilled. I was really hoping for at least an E85 blend, so we're just going to have to run an E80 blend for now. I filled the tank up on that, and so we're going to update the tune to E80. But I do have, the good news is I do have some X85. I've got the 5-gallon cans. I got 4 of those. And what this stuff is, it's really expensive, but it's basically pure ethanol. I think it tests out, last time I tested it at E98, so it's almost 100% ethanol. And this stuff will run really rich and really help out with performance. I couldn't run this stuff last summer because it was a little bit too concentrated the ethanol content was just a little bit too concentrated. So without the fuel system we had in the car, we were just running too lean. So the car was running lean after 7,000 RPMs on regular E85 pump gas that was testing at E90. And when we ran the E98 blend, it was lean, I think even closer to 6,500. And the reason for that is ethanol has a lower fuel density. So it requires about 30 to 35% more fuel than regular gasoline. But the neat thing about ethanol is E85 blend usually has around 111, maybe 114 octane rating, which obviously 93 is only 93 octane. And even running a really good quality octane booster, which I think I have a can sitting here, it runs, does a great job. This Octanium that I've got does a really good job of increasing the octane level in the 93 octane fuel, but the most that this can bump it up is another 8 points. So even with 93 octane and a full can of Octanium, which is kind of expensive, you still can't run nearly as much octane as E85. And the neat thing about that is, especially when you've got a big setup like this, I'll pop the hood for you guys if you haven't seen the car yet, but if you're running a big setup like this with a supercharger and some of the other goodies that we've got, we made 822 wheel the summer before last summer, and we've upgraded it quite a bit since then. But as I had mentioned, we were running out of fuel, so we couldn't really run it all the way up to 8,200 RPM. We're now going to be running a lot closer to the 950 wheel horsepower range. So I'm going to flip this around so you guys can see it. So we're just running a heavy duty Vortec blower setup. It's a JT trim, so it's been upgraded 3 times, or 2 times actually. And this last upgrade came with a lot larger volute, so it's pulling a lot more air through. The whole head unit's been upgraded, and it also runs heavy duty internals now. The heavy duty internals allow us to spin the blower a lot higher. And so this Voodoo motor with the flat plane crankshaft actually has an RPM maximum range of 8,250, which is a lot of RPM. And before we upgraded this, we couldn't run that high because it really would have overspun the blower, and we probably would have spun a bearing. So we upgraded it, increased the size of it so we could get more boost more quickly, and of course then upgraded to the heavy duty internals so we could spin it a lot higher. Because of that, we had to cut a hole in the hood because it just didn't fit. So about a section of this sticks out. At this point, I'm probably going to be upgrading to the GT500 hood. Would need to upgrade to the new composite piece for the GT500. It's the same carbon fiber composite, but on the 500 it's got inlets right here, and that's where the hood pins stick out of. So we'll have to upgrade that and the hood at the same time. But for right now, this works, and this is the setup. We're running a, I want to say it's a 3.4 inch pulley at this point, 10% overdriven crank pulley, and that's a super ATI super damper on the crank pulley down in there. That helps with a lot of vibration, and just is overdriven by 10%, so it helps us with a little bit more power. And we're running FIC 1200cc injectors, running the 4 Innovations return style fuel system with a -10 feed line, a -8 return line. And that allows us to really solve the problem that we had with this E85 last summer in the power level, because this allows us to control the fuel pressure right here manually, right with the turn screw. And then it allows us to dial that in and push a lot more power because we can push a lot more fuel now. And the main reason why I think that was, or is this -10 feed line is a really, really thick feed line. So this is the fuel that's coming from the back of the fuel tank, from the pumps and through the filter. And this -10 line is a lot bigger than the original GT350 line. And then of course we've got the -8 crossover and the -8 return line. So instead of this being a deadheaded system, it's now running fuel in, and it can run fuel back to the tank. which is hence the return style fuel system. But if you guys take a look at this, this was the original GT350 fuel line coming up from the back and into the motor. And if you just kind of quickly lay these out together, you can see there's a huge difference in this original line and the Dash 10 line. So the bottleneck I think we were getting from the fuel pressure side was just due to that stock line just not being thick enough. I was running dual pump, which comes with the GT350 already. A dual pump Deutschwerks setup. It's a 415 lph per pump setup in the stock fuel hat. Did a great job at first until we started cranking up the power, and so that's hence the need to really switch to the return style fuel system. But was running this, even attempted to run dual VMP booster pumps to try to boost the voltage on these, really crank the tune as far as we could in the duty cycle, and it just still wasn't enough. Just wasn't enough fuel demand, or needed a lot more fuel demand, and we just couldn't really deliver it. So again, I really think because we had the fuel pumps, we had the voltage, we had the power, I believe that the problem, the bottleneck, was this stock fuel line. So hoping that the Dash 10 4 setup is going to work really well. We're running dual 285 pumps, which I think are like 515 or 525 lph on the flow for those pumps, which is a lot more than we had before. And we're also running a Snow Performance water meth kit that I've been able to install here now that we moved the battery to the trunk. I'll show you guys that in a minute. But we've got the water meth tank where the actual water meth sits, and then the pump. And now we're pumping that straight into the intake. We're spraying it right here. And that is a two-stage progressive kit. So it's set, I've got it set right now to spray 50% water meth at 5 pounds of boost and 100% spray at 8 pounds of boost and up. So it's a two-stage progressive kit. Doesn't spray until we're into boost. And of course, as I just mentioned, it doesn't spray at all until we hit 5 pounds of boost. And I like that ramp because if you get too much water meth right away, it just causes the car to get either one, a little too rich, too quick, and or just causes problems where the water meth is just coming out way too fast and tends to actually spray back down the pipe and onto the mass airflow sensor right here. And the goal is to have this kind of a 90-degree spray. So this boosted air is getting pressed through here really fast, and it comes flying through here. It hits the water meth spray, cools the air off really fast, and that's the goal of this water meth kit, is to get the air really cold, because colder air, we can pack more dense air into the cylinders for cylinder filling, the colder it is, and that also helps us run a little bit more ignition timing. So the goal is for the boosted air to come in really hot and quick, and be cooled off really quick by the spray. But the problem is if you're running too much water meth too early, you're not getting enough boost through here, you end up just spraying it, and it just kind of sprays down and can hit this MAF. And what happens then is the car just sputters and jerks a lot and gets that MAF really dirty. And of course, then it's never going to run right. So in the back, we're running the battery to the trunk. I'm just doing a trickle charge right now. Looks like that's full. And we're just trickle charging the fresh battery. I've got to clean up some of this wiring because we don't need this original ground wire anymore. That was running from the battery grounds from the front into the battery in the back. Instead, that's too far of a run. So learned that the hard way here. And so instead, we're running a shorter ground from the battery right to the ground in the car. We're running the other ground from the F3C controller, the 4 Innovations F3C controller, and that's running our 2 pumps and obviously routed in for power to the battery. And then on the front side here, for the battery power, we've rerouted this ground straight to a ground right here, which is a much shorter run, obviously, than trying to run this connected and then back through the car into the battery. So All of these wires are being routed through a port down here. They're shooting through the firewall in the car. They're running down along the kick panel, and they're running down through here under the seat just like they normally would, and back through the trunk where you guys saw the battery and the F3C controller set up. Trying to think what else we might be missing power-wise. We're running a GT350 throttle body, of course. P1 tuner's catch can. We're also running a QA1 carbon fiber drive shaft and Ford Performance 1500 horsepower axles. We snapped one of the axles at the track last year, so I didn't want that problem again this year. And I thought while we were in there, we would just throw the carbon fiber drive shaft on as well. Already tested that, ran it down the highway, no vibrations, so we didn't have to reclock it or anything. That has worked out so far so good. We're also running a McLeod RXT dual disc clutch, and that's rated for, I think it's rated for 1500 or 2000 horse, I want to say. Maybe around 1500 or 1000, somewhere in there. More than we really needed at the wheels there, or at the clutch. It's also running then, of course, aluminum flywheel. And for exhaust, we're running stock headers down to a cat delete pipe, into a deleted resonator, and then back through to deleted mufflers just dumped out by the back tires. And I think that's it, guys. We've got a set of welds for the drag strip and a set of circle track slicks for the circle track. And if I'm missing something, I'll update it in the video later. All right, guys, have a good one.